people have been living on the fence for so long, and it's not because they do it on purpose. It's because they can do. They're allowed to. That's how they live life. Like, if it's gonna be too much hassle for me now, I'm not gonna deal with it. But maybe in a couple of weeks' time, when I'm cool and I've got time, and I might deal with it. Innit? Like sitting on the fence. Right? This is the time when you have to make that decision. Like, you've known, there's been institutional racism, but this is the time when you've got to do something about it. You know there's been pedophiles, but this is the time you've got to do something about it. You know there's been all these things happening, but you've been sitting on the fence like, I don't really like it, but I'm not going to do anything about it because it doesn't affect me, innit? But this is the time now when
it affects everyone.
That's it. And people now have to choose that side. So definitely today we're going to talk about vaccines.
Yeah. And I also think we should talk about Boris's 3-tier system for when we come out of lockdown for a month.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's going to be tougher restrictions. But from what I've heard, the only thing I've heard is that more areas are going to be put into higher risk things, isn't it?
So I've been having a few messages. I've heard they say they're going to let us open up 1 week for Christmas. That implying that we're going to be in lockdown until then, and we're going to have a week open.
What? So they're going to, so basically they're gonna stop lockdown on the 2nd, and then like we start it on like the 10th. That's madness, bro.
Ridiculous.
It's going to be more than ridiculous. Like, you ain't saving the economy with a week.
Dumb. You couldn't do it in 3 months the first time. How are you going to do it in a week?
A week, you know. Like, allow it, bro.
PM has also outlined plans for Christmas holidays. Cabinet will be meeting tomorrow to sign off on plans. I have heard one of the MPs really aggressively pushing for people not mixing at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much so, pushing hard. I can't remember who it was. I might have taken a screenshot. Let me have a look. England will return to a tougher version of regional 3-tier of coronavirus restriction on the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
Prime Minister will also set out to how the public can see loved ones over Christmas in a statement to Parliament on Monday. That's tomorrow. Hitting the ministers will sign off on temporary amnesty from the most severe COVID measures. Okay. Discussions are going on, but a plan to end the month-long national lockdown on time will be discussed at the meeting on with the cabinet.
Okay.
So they're saying, government scientists criticised the effectiveness of their tier system before the second national lockdown, insisting that the lowest tier, which permitted gathering of 6 people from different households, had little effect on reducing the size of the epidemic.
Okay.
Coincidentally, coincidentally with Mr. Johnson's statement, the Scientific Advisory Group of Emergency is expected to publish papers reiterating its previous advice that a tougher regional approach is required if the virus is to be kept at bay. So that means they're not gonna have the lighter lockdowns, are they? Basically.
No, they're so because I've got an article. I've got the what source are you reading that from?
The Independent.
All right, cool. So I'm reading this from the BBC. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's saying here that Boris Johnson is expected to set out his plans, including details of how families can see different households at Christmas, to MPs on Monday or tomorrow. Yeah, more areas are to be placed in higher tiers to keep the virus under control, number 10 said. Also, some tiers will be strengthened to safeguard lockdown progress. So which means I think some areas are not coming out of lockdown.
What they might try to do is on Monday, they might try to strengthen and like proper go hard on the lockdown until the 2nd of December to try to reduce the number of infections.
Ain't this a bit too late though to try and do? Like, shouldn't you be doing this from the
From the get-go, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, these guys,
you know what I mean?
I mean, even their scientists are saying that, boy, these Boris and them lot are being too lax. They should just strengthen the lockdown. I'm like, man.
Yeah. That's what it says here. Yeah? It says the government scientific advisory group for emergencies, which is basically what they call themselves as SAGE. And they're expected to publish research on Monday as well. But they're saying the previous restrictions were not strong enough.
See, the biggest problem.
So restrictions need to be stronger. They need to be more, dominant.
See, the biggest problem with this for me is that the lockdown is wholly based on the number of infections, and the number of infections converted to death rates, But all the testing, has been admitted by Boris Johnson that 93% of them, are failures, and only 7% of testing works. So if that's the case, then we're getting 97% of results, which ain't true results, which they're trying to base a model off that to create a lockdown system to reduce. But them numbers are wrong. They shouldn't be looking at. I don't understand as well. From the first time it's happened, and they said that the numbers are wrong afterwards, in hindsight, and then at the beginning of this one, even Boris Johnson said that on national TV that only 7% of the PCR testing kits work.
No, I know.
This is crazy,
bro. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. Like, because again, like, they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? If they don't know what they're doing, they're only gonna pump out a bag of rubbish to the public, which is gonna make them just as confused. You know what I mean? So going off certain numbers, which they know they shouldn't be going off, is something that we kind of knew they were gonna do.
Yeah, true.
What other numbers are they going off? What other numbers have they got to go off?
What? I don't understand why.
Look how many numbers they've lost. Look how much numbers they've actually lost. Like, mixed up, got wrong.
Is there no other independent people that can look at it and count the actual numbers and find out the real numbers or not?
Yeah, of course there is. There most probably is, but it costs money.
But that is so big. That
costs money, bro.
I do that.
It costs money, man. And the thing about it, we don't know. Maybe they are doing that and they have got a certain set of numbers and they're just telling us different numbers. I don't know. But like, if we're going by off an eye test, then I'll let you know now, bro. Like, they ain't got the money to be forking out for independent parties to come and count numbers.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know what I mean?
I hear that.
It's madness, bro. Like, it's absolute madness. So, and we're going back to this article. It's saying as well that the government will identify each tier that each area is to be placed into on Thursday. So Thursday, we're going to find out what tier everyone's in.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, what? So, and obviously they want to put certain areas in higher tiers. And I truly believe, I wouldn't say truly believe, but I believe there's a possibility, that you will see a lot of areas with money. I don't know why, but in quite high tiers. High tiers. I don't know why, but I think you will.
I mean,
full places. You will find Liverpool is still in that in the highest.
100%.
You will find. I truly believe that you will find London creeping up into that top tier.
Yeah,
I mean, why? I don't know, but
Liverpoolians, I can't even say the word.
Yeah, Liverpoolians.
A lot of them were saying that the reason why they've been hit first is because they've been known to be one of the most violent capitals in the UK. Now,
well, that could be a factor.
So London,
they are a violent capital.
London is the highest knife capital in the UK. So I can see London definitely being another place where they want to suppress.
Yeah, but I reckon I reckon they'll make everyone sleep on London though.
What do you mean?
So with all these other like sort of high tier areas, they're gonna kind of emphasize on them in the media and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
London's gonna be slept on for a bit.
Yeah.
And then bit by bit, it will just creep and creep until we hit that tier. And once we hit that tier, then we'll be the flavor of the month. We'll be the talk of everywhere.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna be the, how can I put it? I think we're gonna be used, London's gonna be used as a scapegoat at some point. Maybe.
As an example, and then as a scapegoat, yeah.
And I do understand that, like, they were, if they don't do it, it could be, obviously it's not convenient for them to be doing it with London, but I just think they like to use London in a lot of shit. So
see, I think the problem is, once it happens in London, that's it. Because I feel like London is one of the capitals of the world, that kind of end up being above the rest in the sense of they don't get caught up with the rest of the global construct. So when there's war, like UK looks like a goodie in every situation, isn't it? When they're not.
Yeah, but they're not. England are not goodies, man. England
exactly.
Like UK wouldn't be not goodies because they're walking into a situation where they know they're gonna be looked at as bad guys no matter what in the end.
Oh, and then the other thing is, it's like the UK is obviously a sovereign thing, isn't it? Sovereign.
Sovereign state, yeah.
So
they're sovereign. Well, yeah, I don't know how it goes, but I think UK is actually part of that stuff.
And based on that, I feel like UK or the people that run this country feel like they're quite exempt from the rest of the world when it comes to having to do stuff, isn't it? Just like
they've got diplomatic community and they can just walk around and do what they want.
Yeah, so like that. That's that kind of thing. So I think that if they do London, it's gonna be like
because there is a thing that they won't. There is a chance that they won't. I'm not saying that they're definitely gonna do that.
No, of course.
You know, I mean, they won't. It is basically saving themselves if they don't.
If they do it, it's gonna show the world so much, man. Because UK haven't been put on show like that ever, really. That these are the guys that were getting on the whole situation. But I mean, at the same time, going back to these tests, so you know the WHO, World Health Organization.
What, the band? Oh, I'm about to say the band. I'm thinking the band. Like, why are we talking about the band? I do know them.
Yes, that the boss, of WHO, he was quarantined for 2 weeks, isn't it? But he doesn't see the need to take a test after he's quarantined.
Of course he should.
Yeah, exactly. But he's basically saying in the papers that in the media that he ain't taking a test. He doesn't need to.
Then wouldn't he be contradicting himself? Because he's been telling the bag of people, make sure that you get tested after you come out of quarantine. Make sure that you get the all clear. But yet man's trying to say that he's not doing that. So ain't that contradicting what he's contradicting himself?
So a lot of times we've seen, these guys contradicting themselves. I've noticed a lot. And it's very obvious as well. It's not just like little sly things they hide. It's actual obvious lies which they contradict themselves with.
Absolute total faux pas, mate. Absolute total faux pas.
Just a quick one, put in there, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. You know you gotta press that button right now.
Done though.
And also I just want to slip in this year. I don't know if I should put this in the edit or not, but fuck that Hancock, man. That brother, man, he's a prick, bro. I don't like this guy at all, bro. Not at all. This guy is on some mad thing, fam. What is he on, bruv? What drugs does he take on a daily basis?
Right, you got to remember something here with Parliament and politics and stuff. As much as they're all working for someone, they're all out for themselves. If they get a chance to be leader, they're jumping at it, mate.
Yeah, 100.
So some are going to be over enthusiastic, some are going to try the friendly card, some are going to try the stern card, some are going to try, if you notice, most of their personas are all different to each other. Yeah. They're all there for their common goal, and they're all working towards their common goal, but they're all different people and they all want different things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I hear that.
One person will want to be leader, and the other person will be like, well, I want to work with him for a while. If he, then obviously they'll go through. They'll just try and do shit different ways, man. In Parliament and politics is absolute politics. You know what I mean? So I do think that once Boris does something that they class as a bit too much, then the people you see helping him are going to be people fighting for his place. Yeah. So people like Matt Hancock. And Michael Gove's been fighting to be Prime Minister for the longest.
Yeah.
The longest, bruv. For the longest. Yeah. And whenever the new Prime Minister comes in, he always becomes their best friend. Have you noticed that? Yeah. He tries the best friend approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He does the best friend approach. As I said, the politics is absolute politics, bruv.
It's
you know
mad,
what I mean?
Because politics have kind of boiled over now into entertainment. Do you watch? Watch, Good Morning TV? Good Morning Television.
Well, if I'm up at that time, then yeah.
So, maybe I don't watch it myself, but I see a couple of clips on YouTube every so often. So Piers Morgan's on it a lot of the time when I watch it, and we all know Piers Morgan. Yeah, some people hate him, some people like him. Sometimes
don't get me wrong,
sometimes he's the bad guy, isn't it?
My opinion on Piers Morgan is this, innit? He's a cockroach, but there are certain times you cannot disagree with a guy.
Yeah. He's very straight. So basically, these lot have been obviously talking about what's been going on, and Piers Morgan, being Piers Morgan, talks like how he talks and straight and direct. So basically, what government have done now, like the cabinet and that, they boycotted the show, Good Morning TV.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and so Piers Morgan has been trying to flipping have conversations with him, yeah? Matt Hancock's come on a couple of times, yeah? But these interviews with Matt Hancock, yeah, I didn't think to myself, this fella Matt Hancock, well, someone's gonna do something to this guy, like, but he comes on, and like the first question, obviously, he says, oh, so what's going on? So why are you in the cabinet boycotting our show? And then Matt Hancock's response to that is something like, oh, good morning, Piers. Oh, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate you having me on so that we can have a sit down, have a conversation, answer some questions, hopefully find some solution and compromises, and, you know, have a good positive outcome. And then he goes,
answer the question, bro.
I'm here to answer all your questions. And then he goes, yo, let's ask you a question. You answer it. He goes, yeah, well, like I said before, I appreciate you inviting me on the show. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious, Hancock? Someone's gonna slap you up, bro. Slap you up, bro. And this guy, he's like,
Matt Hancock's a bit different. He's snaky, bro. Like, dude's very snaky to me, innit? Like,
pop.
And you basically, like, you can say, because even though Dominic Raab, when Boris Johnson was in hospital and stuff, and I swear he put Dominic Raab in charge, basically, you know what I mean, of the country, I still reckon Matt Hancock was in man's ear. Matt Hancock is like the snake that told Thingy to eat the apple, man.
Yeah, I know. Matt, he's so, I can't understand how this fella even exists here, how he sleeps at night.
Slippery, man.
This guy had been trying to push this mandatory vaccine, like. Yeah. That is bad news, bro. Bad news.
It's bad news, man. Again, as we already know, unlicensed. We don't know what's in it, what ain't in it. We don't know what true side effects it gives to people. You know what I mean? We know that the tests have been running. One person's passed away. Another person got really ill, but yet they still carried on trials and still tried to say they're pushing it out. You know what I mean? there's adverts on the TV now of a company called Moderna, you know what I mean, saying that they've got a vaccine and it's ready to go. You know what I mean? And their vaccine's like apparently 99.6% like effective, like it's ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's them or if it's another company, another pharmaceutical company that the UK is trying to get doses from, because we know the UK are trying to rush around to get 5 million doses of vaccine, you know what I mean, so they can start vaccinating people.
So the first two companies that are getting the main push are Pfizer and Biotech.
Okay.
Which they've come together and created a vaccine. Pfizer, guys, before anything you do, please just go and research this company, because this company has records, public records. You can go and see what they have done in the past. And what they have done in the past, if you read half of what they've done in the past, you will be sitting there thinking, no one in my family is taking no vaccine. Because these guys are the pinnacle of pharmaceuticals. They're the ones that are there for the money. They don't care about anything else. They're actually for the money. And they just create vaccines. They push them out without testing many times. They find all the time that they're getting people who are dying from vaccines and having permanent disabilities afterwards, and then, you know, Pfizer gets taken to court and has to pay out legal things, but then tries to cover it up. Like, this company is a dodge company. That's like going around to your local ends and that, yeah, to a little alley and someone in the back saying, yeah, come here, I got some painkillers for you, fam. Come and take this. Them guys, like, I wouldn't trust them guys. But also, funny enough, I was in a cab the other day, yesterday night, in fact. I was chatting to a guy. He was Turkish. He said that Turkey have found a vaccine for the coronavirus, which is safe. He said, I'm sure he said to me 100% safe, which I doubt, because nothing's ever 100%.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
And he's saying that they're pushing it out to their people and trying to get it out. And there are a few other people that have made vaccines that apparently help with the COVID-19. Although the remdesivir from the beginning, you get me, that thing there, that was
helping anyway.
That was the thing that should have been pushed out from the beginning. So
yeah, that would have stopped deaths. That would have curbed deaths anyway. You know what I mean? Like, until basically this vaccine was anywhere near ready.
Yeah.
But I don't think any country has got a ready vaccine. Not any country has.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? And any person that says that their country's got a vaccine and is ready to be pushed out and it's effective, shut up, bruv. I don't want to hear it. Vaccines take years. You know what I mean? Is your vaccine licensed? You know what I mean? Are you willing to show like reports? Are you willing to show the proof of how effective it is? Because if you ain't, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see some proof. You know what I mean? That's what I think they need to do for people. I think they need to show the people proof of how effective it actually is. Show us in some sort of test. I know you can make up a test that will show it to us so we can understand what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know you know how to. I don't know. I'm sorry to use this to people. You know what I mean? I'm just using this in the conversation as it is right now. But like, I'm sure they could dumb it down for us, innit?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then they can tell us what. They can tell us what's what. You know what I mean? And what the real results are. Yeah. How effective it actually is. Yes, it's effective for people, but this could happen. Because then I think people will make a proper educated decision on whether they're going to take the vaccine or not.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true. So I've got this article as well. It says Pfizer has submitted an emergency use authorization requesting the US FDA today for its coronavirus vaccine. They will distribute the vaccine within hours of authorization. Pfizer has enough doses at the moment for, this is in America,
Right.
12.5 million Americans this year, which is
See, I just don't trust it.
I mean, it's a very small proportion, 12.5.
Like
yeah.
12.5 billion people, like, and you've got 365 million people on that continent. It's like, that's a drop in the ocean, mate. 12.5.
That's like 3%. 2%.
That's crumbs. That's crumbs, bro. That's crumbs. Regardless of percentage, it's crumbs. You know what I mean? You want to talk about helping the people, but yet you're only willing to help not even a whole fraction of the people that are on your continent. You know what I mean? Which basically is telling me, like, it's like, all right, cool, we'll cater for these people, but you don't have to wait, or you're not going to get it at all.
So this is the issue, yeah. Who are they going to look after? Are they going to look after the people that are more vulnerable, that need looking after, or are they going to look after the people that are going to be the future?
In America, they're going to look after the people that can pay for it. That's the thing. Because remember, in America, you pay for your medical stuff. It's not like they've got an NHS or something over there. No. None of that. You know what I mean? Everything's all private now. Everything's all, you got to pay for it. And it's grands. It's grands
I've seen the cost.
You know what I mean?
I've seen the cost of taking the vaccine. I think it was like $125 or something to go and get the vaccine in America.
Yeah.
So
that must be for a select amount of people. It must be for a select amount of people, bro. Because I'm telling you that there's going to be people willing to pay through the roof for a vaccine.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So I reckon they'll break it up into like bands or something. You know, like as we would put it, tiers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Certain tiers are going to pay through the roof to get that vaccine. So I truly believe the people that are willing to pay money, regardless if it's $125 or $125,000, you know what I mean? If you're willing to pay for your vaccine, they're going to look after you by giving you that vaccine, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? Oh yeah, I've got this other article going back to me saying that I don't understand the second lockdown because they've been using numbers that they know which ain't true numbers from the first lockdown. So this article is from the Telegraph, innit? And it basically says data used to justify England's second national lockdown is proven to be false. Professor Carl Hellingham claims.
Okay.
So the graph presented during a Downing Street press conference suggested daily deaths couldn't hit 4,000 next month. So that's so what they're doing is that their model that they're working on is this, and I think they've said this a couple of times, yeah, that the infections on one day, yeah, the infections on the day after that day will be doubled from the first day. So based on that model, within, you know, a month's time, you're going to have one person infected, and then you're going to have 1,000 people affected, isn't it? Or 10,000 people affected. So because of that, people are fearing that it's going to infect so quickly, so fast. Yeah. Now, realistically, it hasn't done that. And they said from the get-go, it's never, ever doubled from day to day, innit?
No, of course.
So based on that, I mean, how do they get? Well, how do they get away with it? I don't understand. Yeah, I know the media are good. Yeah, at influencing and manipulating. Yeah, but don't people actually have a sense of like intellect to understand that, you know, you put your hand on fire and it burns and it hurts. Yeah, and there's another fire there. Are you gonna put your hand on that same fire knowing that last time you did it, it burnt and it hurt? Of course not. I don't understand how people don't get that.
Yeah, because you got to remember, some people have got that thing in their brain where they don't feel pain, so they'll just carry on doing it. Yeah, like. But secondly, like, you got to remember, like, the reason why some people are not understanding and being confused and maybe doing the same thing and making it repeatable is because of how many words and voices are being thrown at them. They don't have to listen to just the government. They've got the news, they've got their mates, they've got their family, they've got so many different people having their own opinion and their own this and their own that. You know what I mean? That people are not listening to what they need to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which means, all right, then cool. So when they're saying, all right, cool, we know this burns, but go back and burn your hand. A lot of people are going to go back and burn their hand, unfortunately.
It's crazy, bruv. It's crazy. It's crazy. So basically, the vaccine, yeah, is going to be very dangerous. But what are your thoughts on them trying to make it compulsory or mandatory in certain categories or sectors?
I still think that's a bit wrong. I still think people should have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, we know that, to be honest, they're not going to give a choice. You know what I mean? Because if you choose not to take it, they're going to find a way for you to take it. You know what I mean? So, like,
who do you think they're going to hit first in the UK? As in, like, the category?
Lower class.
Lower class.
Lower class. I believe they think we might be like, well, lower class might be easiest to get. You know what I mean? They ain't got the funds to keep them sort of off, or to, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'll just take that for now, or, you know what I mean? Or to keep them away from certain people. Some people ain't got the funds like that. So people that ain't got funds like that, they're getting hit first, I reckon. Then the people that have got funds, they're going to be treated a lot differently to how people that haven't. So the lower class, they might get pushed to do stuff, where the people with a bit of dough, they'll get coerced to do stuff. You know what I mean? Because it means they can make people part with dough, as well as getting the vaccine. Then the people with dough can go promote that for them, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So they said that the vaccine will look to be pushed out by January as well.
That's scary. That's scary as hell. I didn't even know that. Like, I don't even. They shouldn't even be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. To be honest, they should have said they are working on the vaccine. Their progress is being made on the vaccine. They shouldn't be telling people it's ready to go. Get ready to be taking vaccines. You see what I'm saying?
All the agenda. I mean, so realistically, if you look at it from the start, you'd think it was agenda of a government to take over, but it's not even the governments, because the governments are crippling under this whole pressure. Like, they ain't got a clue what's going on, man.
But here's the thing: most of these governments are looking at England, going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. What are we doing?
We're actually being looked. We're actually being looked at, and people are asking, "What are they actually doing? What's that government doing?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we're here actually trying to shout to these people. We don't know. We actually don't know. So,
and can I tell you the other issue, with the vaccine and the whole situation with the lockdown, is that we don't need another lockdown. We don't need a vaccine. We've seen New Zealand. They've done it. They have no coronavirus in their country no more.
No.
They went under lockdown for
4 weeks total.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. But they went after a very hard total.
But that's cool. So that makes sense though, that they've done it and they've got a structure that's been created that's successful, a model. I say. What? Because they're led by a woman, is that why other countries ain't said, oh, look, New Zealand has done it. They've saved all their people. Like, I don't know how many people that had deaths. It was something ridiculous, like, I can't remember. I don't even think it was a size 47. I'm thinking something in the region of 12. But I can't understand how people just don't, like, governments to say, we need to do what they have done. We don't need to panic people. We don't need to put people through vaccines. We don't need to do all this mad stuff. Why don't we do what they done?
No, we don't. We don't. Like, I'll say it like this: with New Zealand, again, we know 4 weeks lockdown and it was gone. You know what I mean? Then they got another case. Then they got another batch of cases. So they went on another two-week lockdown. Yeah. Then it's gone again. It's gone completely now. There's no more cases now. You know what I mean? If you look at pictures of sporting events, they've got full stadiums, absolute full stadiums. Everyone right next to each other, jumping, screaming, hugging each other, all sorts. You know what I mean? Like, if other countries did see that and try to take that structure and use that, yeah, that might have helped. It just depends on the country. Not all countries might have worked that way, innit? It might not have worked for them that way. You know what I mean? Because I'll let you know now, they've been trying technically total lockdown to us all the time. No one's listening. Everyone's still going out.
Yeah, but they haven't really. They've been saying from one day to the next day, you can do this, but you can't do that. But you can do this, but you can't do that. And it's not like no one really understands it. Even from the first lockdown, man, people didn't understand what was really going on, what the lockdown was about, what the rules and regulations were, because they kept changing all the time, innit? And because
you can't go to a family member's house, but yet you can go to a restaurant full of people and yam.
Yeah.
No, I know you can't. I know you can't at the moment, but at one point, that's what you could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's only now they're trying to be tougher with things that they're saying, right, you can't do this, you really can't do that either. Like, you know what I mean? Where before they would just, they didn't know what rule to put out next.
You got to remember, like, people going into supermarkets throughout coronavirus time, it's like people will go in and not all of them are going to be wearing gloves or whatever they need to be wearing, and they're touching products, having a look at products, yeah? Like, people ain't going around cleaning and sanitizing them. Like, that place there is going to be one of the hardest places to stop people catching coronavirus, but it's an essential place, but you're allowed to go in there with 100 other people, but you're telling me man can't go and visit my grandma. You're dumb in your face, man. That makes no sense. I mean, no sense.
No, it don't. It doesn't. It doesn't. But again, does the government make sense?
No, not at all. Not now. Well, they never have done, but I mean, right now they're making the complete opposite of sense.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I truly believe they think this is the most clear they've been so far, if anything. You know what I mean? And to an extent, you know what I mean? It is like, all right, cool. I know you're trying to make sense of things now. You're trying to do this and you're trying to do that. But to me, it's too late, man. You know what I mean? You confuse enough people already.
Way too late. And
you know what I mean?
Not only confuse enough people, upset people, and basically cripple your own flipping economies. Now everyone's gonna be going through at least a year of stress and recoup, because the government are trying to recoup from us. We're trying to recoup for ourselves. It's like some mad catch-22.
No, not right now, mate. For the first 3-4 months, mate, we're recouping for the government, mate. We're not recouping for ourselves. Yeah. We're recouping for them, because they're just only going to come and take that dog.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And obviously, with all these penalties and fines they're giving out,
man.
One of them, which I've been having a little giggle about, is that what they've done is that they've put certain road, not blocks, but like certain things to say not to go through this road.
What?
But, like, so they'll put like on either side of the two bits of the road, it will say no entry coming this way, yeah?
Yeah.
But they don't block off the road. So you get drivers that will see that, and because it's set up temporary, it doesn't look like it's something that might have been put there on purpose to stop people bust through. And the next thing you know, they get £130 fine through their door. So I was with one of the girls on doing a shoot, and we came up to one of these things here. And there was a car in front of us, and they drove straight through. And then she come up to it, and then she went, "Hold up a second," and then she goes, "I'm not too sure about going through this place." And then there was a man on the side of the road here. It was like, don't go through, you're gonna get a fine, And she was like, yeah, but he just went through, and then he was like, yeah, but don't worry, he's gonna be seeing 130 on his doorstep tomorrow, man. Don't go through. And it's like, what they've done, it's so funny, because they've given cars routes to go
sneaky.
Through. Yeah, so cars are automatically gonna go through. And once one car goes through, if there's a lot of traffic, cars are just generally gonna be going through. No one's gonna really stop. And they're going to be making therapy out of that. Obviously, they've extended the congestion zone. Obviously,
they have.
They've got fines for people not wearing masks, or businesses.
Well, that's up to like £6,200 or something. That's the maximum.
400, yeah, I saw that.
6,000 or something like that, yeah.
like fines for businesses, fines for, like, for instance, gym, yeah? Whenever the police got to a gym, anyone that was in the gym was also fined as well. So there's all this money that's taken away.
They're just trying to.
Oh, blood, they're being clever right now, brother.
Daylight robbery, mate.
And then, obviously, we're going to have to expect next year taxes going up in certain places. 100%.
I said this. I've been saying it for a word now. Operation Recoup, mate. They're gonna. As I said, they're trying to recoup as much money as possible, man.
And
you know what I mean?
Have you heard of this thing called the financial reset?
No. What's that?
So I've done some research. I don't know, right? A lot of people have been talking about it. I was recommended to have a look into it, but they said the great reset, the financial reset, or something like that, is when they try to reset the whole world's economy, innit? And so they said that it's looking like this is what is happening now, innit? That all countries that's got money and power are getting their economies reset back down to zero, innit? But I haven't looked into it, so that's just the general idea of what I've got. But I'm definitely gonna look into that as well. Still.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at that standard. That sounds like a little. That sounds like a little project man can look at. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
100%.
So other than that, I mean, mate, like times are looking a bit grim. You know, people. We have got now more people who's chosen a side. That's the main thing, really. Choosing a side.
Yeah.
What it is that people have been living on the fence for so long, and it's not because they do it on purpose. It's because they can do. They're allowed to. That's how they live life. Like, if it's gonna be too much hassle for me now, I'm not gonna deal with it. But maybe in a couple of weeks' time, when I'm cool and I've got time, and I might deal with it. Innit? Like sitting on the fence, right? Oh, right, I'm gonna do this, and I'll do it then. You get me? There's no kind of movement in that situation, and I think this is the time when you have to make that decision. Like, you've known, there's been institutional racism, but this is the time when you've got to do something about it. You know there's been pedophiles, but this is the time you've got to do something about it. You know there's been all these things happening, but you've been sitting on the fence like, I don't really like it, but I'm not going to do anything about it because it doesn't affect me, innit? But this is the time now when
it affects everyone.
That's it. And people now have to choose that side. Now, one video that I saw, which I've got, I think I want to put in the description to check it out, is a video of, in America. There's this military sergeant, a major, I can't remember what his level was, but quite high. He was at like this kind of, it wasn't a conference, it was like a community whole thing with bare people in it, and he was chatting.
So he was speaking, he was doing like a public speech, like public speaking and that.
Yes. And he was saying that he's fought for the country, like him and his people, battalion and that, have done this and done that, and we're fighting for a country, for our freedom. And what's happened is that the government now are taking away all of that, and he said that he's not happy and don't agree with it, and that he had chosen a side, and public saying that him and his people are going to fight for the people.
So he's chose his side, and his side is the people.
Yeah, and him and his people are going to fight for the people and stand up and get involved more so.
Yeah.
So in effect, we know and we've discussed that the police enforcers of the countries will have the hardest decisions if they've got to choose a side, because of the fact that they have to pay to feed their family, to get paid. At the same time, they probably go into businesses and people's yards and doing all this stuff, and I'm 100% sure that there's some of them there that's feeling inside like, wow, my brethren's got a laundrette, my brethren's got a calf, someone doing this for my brethren. Like, no, this ain't right. But
not just brethren's, family members.
Members, all of that. So we know that the police, it's going to be so hard to get the police to make that decision. But what we can say is that the military, they're the people who we can kind of get more so because they're more so independent, fighting for the country, for the rights of the country, rather than for the government, not enforcing laws for the government. I mean, so realistically, around the world, in the countries that need to be heard, like the military need to get a bit more involved. That will get some people scared, man. That will get some people.
Will they do that though? Will like you'll only get pockets of people doing that. I'm sorry, I do believe that there is a lot of people in the military that are like, you know what?
See, the problem is this, yeah, is the oath. So the police oath, yeah, they know their oath, yeah, when they first take it. But as soon as they get into reality and start practicing the law, the oath gets clouded by what the superiors' legislations and rules and regulations are. So even when they're doing like certain investigations and getting involved with certain instances, they know as the police that that the oath didn't say we should do this, but if my superiors are saying we should do this and it's done all the time in the police force, then it's cool to do this. Like stopping someone and being aggressive and violent straight away.
Wouldn't you say that's the same in the army though?
So in the army, yeah, so this is but the police force are in the country and the police force are governed by the government in the country, yeah? The military army, I would say, are more so people that fight for the rights of the country. So when other countries come in and try to infringe on our freedoms and take this away from us, take that away from us, then they go out to war and they say, right, no, you're not taking our freedom. We're going to show you why, innit?
Yeah.
More so. So in that, if they've been for a long time in this mind frame of we're out for war to fight for freedom rather than to fight for the legislations that's set by the government, they're going to be a lot more, shall I say, susceptible to be able to say, listen, we need you on team now, innit? Rather than going to the police. Like I said, the police is going to be 80%, 90% they're going to say no because of the fact they had to feed family.
Yeah, of course, they've got to feed their own fam. But you got to remember, the army get paid too.
Yeah, they get paid too.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they get paid loads of money. I know the army don't. You know what I mean? But they do get paid. And who pays them?
See, but here's the problem, yeah? With the police are like the house slaves, yeah? And the military are like the garden slaves. So the house slaves, they're indoors, they're kept nice, they've got little bits of scraps of food and all the rest of it. They're looked after by the government, yeah? Yeah. The military are sold a lie. Bare soldiers know this. They go out to war. Yeah. They come back, and 85% of the military come back, no jobs. Half of them end up homeless. Half of them got to do fit. So the military know that the country don't really look after them as such anyway. So it's not the fact that it's hard to convince the military, like, look, realistically, you know, you go to war for the country. When you come back, what do they say to you? Oh, here's a medal. Now go and find a job in McDonald's. Like,
no. I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying fully. Yeah, like I do hear what you're saying, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just saying like that. There's a lot of people in the army, and you go to any army. This is not just America. This is not just Britain. It's you go to almost any army. Go to a Chinese army. Go to a Korean army. I'll let you know now, they're just as patriotic as them armies there, you know what I mean? Like, and I think there's a lot of patriotic people that go to the army. So I think as much as, again, you're right, they are way more susceptible, not to be coerced or to be influenced, but they're more susceptible to look at the situation and go, here what, I'm not down with that. You know what I mean? Like, off their own accord, not just off anyone's accord, because they're fighting for something and they get to see things we don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? So obviously they can look at a situation and think, all right, cool, I'm not down with that. You know what I mean? But then there's a lot of people that know that stuff, that know exactly that, yet still go out and do it for their country. Yeah. They will say it's for their country. I'm patriotic, it's for the country. Yeah. It's so the people can go and do what they want in the country. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I just think they're the people that if you can start turning those, then you might be onto something. I think it's going to be hard to make. I think it's hard because it's not that they'll be less acceptable. I just think they're more institutionalized to the way they are, to where the situation they're in. You know what I mean? And I think it's quite hard to. You can do it. I'm not saying it can't be done.
No,
you know
I
what I
hear
mean?
that.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but I just reckon it will be a bit more difficult to try and get someone to take a look at that situation and go, all right, cool, I'm not down, when they're that institutionalized or they've been part of that situation for years upon years. You know what I mean? Or even 5 years. Some people after 5 years institutionalized, you ain't getting them out of the army.
See,
you know what I mean?
My hope is here is this, yeah? This gandemic or pandemic, or whatever you want to flipping call it, they've done, yeah?
Yeah.
Has been going on now for nearly like 9 months, yeah? 8-9 months, yeah?
Yeah, since March. Since March, basically. March of this year, innit?
A lot, yeah? A lot of people have been affected by it. And not by the coronavirus and dying by it, but
millions,
by the lockdowns and by the restrictions and rules and regulations, yeah? My hope is that these army and military guys, like I said, they're more so outside, yeah? They're not inside, they're not the police, they're not enforcing and making people do things like, right, you're gonna have to take the vaccine or you're gonna have to do all this. I'm hoping that a lot of these people have been going through issues, yeah? Because again, with the army, people join the army, they have a lot of families who are basically civilians, yeah, who are gonna be communicating a lot, and they're gonna be saying like their son might be in the army in Afghanistan or in flipping France, yeah, and they might be seeing the situation there, so they might be doing a lot of communication of how things are going. So a lot of them hopefully have been made aware by their own family members of the unjust regulations and rules that the countries have been done, and maybe you know, a lot of these soldiers and that probably think, well, yeah, these are the times we have to deal with it. I don't like it as much as you, until something really happens to someone in a country because of bullshit, innit?
Yeah. But that's what I think. Yeah, again, it's like, just like you said, it's kind of kind of like repeating what I said in it. Like it's just gonna be as you said, some people are gonna be like, you know what, boom, I know exactly what's going down, but we just got to get on with it. You know what I mean? We just got to keep treading. You know what I mean? Where again, some people will be like you said, I ain't down for that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go and stand with these people because these people seem to understand what's going on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe the people were right all along.
Yeah, maybe they were.
You know what I'm saying?
And I suppose the strongest thing will be with the soldiers and the police as such, is that they are reminded of the oath they took. Because that oath is being based from common law. Yeah. Common law is to protect people from being harmed, from having injury, or I can't remember the other one. And this is the basis of the oath. And what's happening now is that the government are doing this to people, isn't it? So by not letting people feed their families. So I think if the oaths now, are really kind of push forward and made people recognise, because even I saw a video as well of this group of people. There's this I think she was a leader, one of the women. She went into the police station up North England, and she served them something. I didn't really get to catch the whole video, but she said to them, "Listen, I insist that you go and look at your oath, because your oath will tell you exactly what you can and what you can't do, and regardless of what you've been told by maybe superiors and that, you've all sworn to this oath, so you've got to hold by it, because if you don't, then you're going to end up facing the consequences." And the woman and the police officers she was talking to kind of seemed to understand her, innit? I said, okay, cool. But then again, that's all for camera, innit? At the end.
Well, it could be, man. See, the thing about if I was one of the people and I was trying to again speak to the army and go, listen, just try and take a look at our situation, I would literally just say, I think I would say to them, can you see all the regulations that's happening in the country? Yeah. Can you see all the restrictions? Yeah. Can you see how people are? Yeah, because you see like what kind of depression. You see people committing suicide. Can you see all these deaths? Can you see certain crimes going up and that? Can you see all this madness going on? Yeah, I can see that. Remember, that's what you're fighting for, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's what you're fighting for. Remember, when you fight, you're fighting for all of what's happening now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to say no more. I'll let you think about that. Bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully, you get a tap on the shoulder, guy. You know what? All right, cool. I hear you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't expect one, but if you get one, it's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, for me, I always look at things like in timeline format, and obviously we saw this kind of coming anyway. But
yeah.
Mad how
we spoke about what we spoke about this lockdown months ago, innit?
Yeah.
Months ago.
But I mean the whole situation. I mean, from how the government moved, what their plan was, who was taking lead and everything, the way things were gonna happen. Like it is crazy. Like, cause I remember when I used to even look at stuff like this 20 years ago, no, about 15 years ago when I started, and I was thinking like, this is crazy, man. Like, even if this was happening, like, it's not gonna get to a point where it's actually gonna affect us people at the bottom. We're as important to them because of the fact that we're the ones that go onto the grindstone and put the money in the economy and work hard like slaves and all the rest of it.
Exactly.
So I thought to myself, they can never really attack the whole thing. They might be hitting certain communities and categories of people, but they're not gonna go and lick off the whole people. And
they want the whole pie.
From all the influence and manipulation, and we knew what they do is that they sell it to us, but there's always the other side of the coin, and they put TVs in our houses, and they got us on computers, and they started getting us more digitalized throughout the time. They then started creating communities in the country, and then started segregation, and started bare different segregation groups and that. And then got the smartphones in, and then got everyone watching the screens, listening to the fear mongering for all these years. It's like you go to a school and they teach you history, from a history book, But that history had been written by the winners of that history. We don't know what the truth is. And so, but we take that in as actual fact. So for all our lives, we think, this brother was evil or this brother was good, until we actually go and do our research. And this is what's happened now, is that all this information has been fed to us all this time, through movies. This is what we're going to do to you. Through cartoons, this is what we're going to do to you. Expect this, innit? That when this comes,
even down to daytime telly, bro. Even down to daytime telly, when there's certain talking and the certain things they say and the way they say it, and bro, there's loads of little things, man. Loads of little things.
Now it's at the point where it's crazy that someone can believe in Boris Johnson when Boris Johnson says on Monday we can't go out, and then on Tuesday, yes, we can go out to essential stores and see our families, but we can't go out. How does your brain must be so mushy, or maybe people in your life do that all the time, so you expect that, okay, that's normal. But this is your flipping president, prime minister, man. He shouldn't be moving like that. He's meant to be a man of his word, isn't it?
Not only that, I do think that as a prime minister, you should have a structure. This should have been spoken about as soon as you became prime minister. Things like this, pandemics, extreme cases of terror, if we have to go to war again, things of that nature need to be spoken about as soon as you step into office. America does do that. America sit the president down and let the president know everything, even down to aliens, mate. You know what I mean? They let him know everything. You know what I mean? Because when Obama was came into power, he was told about an operation, a certain project that Ronald Reagan started, called Star Trek. Quite convenient. But I think it was Operation Star Trek, where he was trying to do something and put something in space, to contact with aliens. You know what I mean? It's weird, but you go and do your research, you will find out that is absolutely 100% the truth. You know what I mean? And he had to be told about that because it was the bomber that said, right, you can scrap that idea now. That can be stopped. Stop that. You know what I mean? He had to give his word to say, right, that can be stopped now.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So we know that it's a matters out there. It's a matters out there, man. They're, like people can coerce people into doing what they want. Some people, as we know, some people don't really know what they're saying and confuse a lot of people. You know what I mean? And another thing is, I think it depends on who you put out there to speak to them. I.e., like Boris Johnson puts out Matt Hancock, Chris Whitty, Dominic Gove.
Yeah.
Like these people don't know how to talk half the time.
Come on, mate.
You know what I mean? They don't know how to speak to people.
No way.
You know what I mean? Them people there can't even talk in an interview.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when we started this, we were talking. Drunkle was here to go. Drunkle, the flipping goat was on, and I remember I put the question to you about this new world order, and I said to you guys, well, they're obviously going moneyless, yeah. What's your thoughts on? Obviously, there was two things I said: one government and one internet. Yeah. And obviously, you guys made it clear, one government, nah, that's never going to happen. There's too many different kind of players for that to really happen. The one internet, nah, how is that going to happen? I don't think that the one internet thing, will be very hard because you've got China, North Korea, you've got places of that stature that don't want nothing to do with the Western world when it comes to the internet. So one thing I have started noticing is this. On Google, Twitter, Facebook, all linked up with Mr. Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, I mean Zuckerberg, that's the one. People putting up posts, yeah, that is going against certain ideas that they're trying to push.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've probably noticed, get fact checked. And then once it gets fact checked, it always comes back with this is false information or this is false information.
I've seen that a lot.
Now, this for me is the first step. If they were going to go to one internet, this would be the first step, yeah, of getting there, yeah, of being able to basically be security and decide what kind of information is put online, who can put what online in it.
Yeah,
that is very dangerous. So I mean, I saw a very recent I think I spoke to you about this with Mark Zuckerberg in court. Did I tell you about this, or was it someone else spoke to it?
Wait, it's this when they were doing that inquiry when he was being interviewed?
Not the first time. This is the second time. This happened like in about maybe a week, 10 days.
Yeah.
So they brought him on, and they asked him about a few tools, yeah, that has been created to link up Twitter, Google, and Facebook to be able to communicate with each other to suppress certain views and opinions and that, yeah. And they've said to him, they basically asked him, broke it down, said, do you know what this tool is? And he's like, not really. And then they said, okay, what this tool is, it does this, yeah, and it does, it breaches privacy, yeah, laws of privacy, yeah. And then Mark Zuckerberg he basically answers, well, I don't really know the details about that right now, but if you want, after this, we can have a talk about it and find a solution. And
was that his answer for that question, or was that his answer for most of the interview?
So that was the answer for most of the interview. And the guy said to him, it got this thing here, because he kept saying that. He goes, listen, all I want you to do is just say yes or no on record. That's all I'm asking you to do, yeah? And he didn't, obviously, say the same answer. And then he goes, well, Mr. Zuckerberg, if you don't want to give me information on record, you know, it's very easy for me to subpoena you.
Peak.
And then he goes, everyone in the court, let's make sure that you're all aware that I've asked him many a time to divulge information, which is very diligent to this case. And every single time he's refused and said that he would answer off screen, off record. So obviously Mark Zuckerberg's sitting there like a flipping robot that he looks like, homeless, don't know what's going on.
Sipping water like a lizard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's happened. But I mean, at the same time, it's scary if they can, like, we know they monitor everything, that's cool. But start to suppressing like information or opinions that they don't want people to see and say, oh, these are false, is absolute balls.
I think they've had this contraption that you're talking about from the beginning. It's just only now they've been caught with it. That's all. You know what I mean? If you're going to do something like and make something like Facebook, and then it's going to get so big that you're going to start buying out things like WhatsApp, Instagram, and things like that, bruv. If you want to get information, because we all know that information is very, very, very valuable. You know what I mean? And it can be used as a very, very powerful weapon. You know what I mean? Information, like, you know what I mean? People are trying to buy information all over the place. You know what I mean? So if you're going to make something like Facebook, where people are going to be willingly giving you their information, you know what I mean? Then the things that people want to keep away, I'm sorry, they're going to have a control, because they're going to want that information that you're not telling them. So they're going to have something there to make sure they can get it.
To be fair, you're 100% right, because the fact that they've always had the fact checker there. I have seen it before in the past, but
it's always been there.
So minimal because of the fact that there's nothing going on in the world that needed to be influenced. But now, there's so much stuff going on right now, and they're trying to push the agenda, and there's so
not only that. Yeah, sorry, not only that, bro. You've got to remember as well, when they first made that, people were just throwing up their everyday thing, how many times they've been toilet and that. No one was putting up anything relevant. No one was really putting up about their conspiracies and that. You had one or two, but bruv, as soon as you see them once, they were gone. You see what I'm saying? Now it's hard for them to do because they know so many people are doing it. It's not like they can just narrow it down because it's only one or two people. It's not the beginning anymore. It's progressed a lot, which means a lot other people are going to progress a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So before it was mainly like communities and groups, you'll find people inside and stuff like that. But now you got everyone people who go to work, who have kids and all the rest of it talking.
And they'll have their opinion.
Yeah, and it's impossible to suppress all of that. Like, to be able to say legitimately, yeah, this is not right. Exactly. But, I mean, I see it more and more and more now. And not only that, I did hear on the news that there was a certain MP, secretary or something, looking to make illegal anyone who is putting out false information online.
Yeah, but but that's the thing though, like, they could class someone's opinion as false information if they wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
It's a very, very thin line. Very thin line.
Free speech. It's not free speech then, is it?
No. It's a very thin line. But then it's like saying, well, we do it anyway because if we hear someone writing something about a bomb and maybe Big Ben or something, we need to clock that account. So we do already have a thing where certain words are put out. So in that thing that they were talking to Mark Zuckerberg, he kept bringing up the thing like, is there certain tag words and things that are being suppressed that every time it's been put in a tag that they just lock it off straight away? So they definitely do that already, but it seems like there's going to be a lot more words and phrases now, which they're going to, so if anyone talks about vaccine, anti-vaccine, or actually anti-vax, then that whole section, regardless of whatever is going on in there, going to get
wiped out.
Yeah.
Well, not so much wiped out, but they're going to get whittled down. They're going to get quietened. You know what I mean? They will be quiet after they'll be swept under a rug, mate. Facebook will Zuckerberg will sweep him under. And remember, like, even though we call him Mark Zuckerberg, to me, his name is the Overlord. That's the name he was given. Yeah, he's the Overlord. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? The Overlord has got plenty of contraptions. And just because they've caught him with one contraption, don't think he hasn't got another. That dude is a fucking genius. Yeah. That dude's a genius. Like, you know what I mean? like, come on. The dude's got a brain. Like, he knows for a fact. It's like Jeff Bezos. What, do you think they haven't got contraptions? I believe all of these people, they've got certain contraption that helps them make more money, helps them get more information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've all got their contraption there because they've got the money for it. And if they haven't got the money to buy it, they've got the money to make it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of them, as I said, he's just been caught with a thing. He's had that there for the longest, bruv. He's just been caught with it. And then when he walks out of that thing, he's going to get one of his people there to make another.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's as simple as that to me. You know what I mean? So this inquiry technically could be for nothing, mate.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Oh, mate, flipping. And lastly, actually, which I'll bring up, is we talked about it a few times before, but they seem to be formulating, which is great news. But when I say they seem to be formulating, I see a lot more articles, on a lot more credible sources. And that's why I hope something will happen. So, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Michael Obernica, who was looking to take criminal proceedings against Boris Johnson and anyone else who supported the lockdown.
Yeah.
And we talked about a group called the World Freedom Alliance. Which was a group of scientists, doctors, and lawyers who come together to take governments basically to court and do the same, get rid of them or whatever they have to do with them. Anyway, so I have been seeing a lot more articles on this group of people. In fact, I should have some stuff because realistically, we did talk about screenshots, and I said I'll take some. Let's find out if I did. But have you seen or heard anything about them since?
I ain't heard much. Like, there have been like little bits, but nothing of any significance for me to sit there and go, right, let me take this in. You know what I mean? Like, there's been nothing that I can actually take in. But I will try, as again, it could be where I just need to do a bit more research on them rather than see if they keep popping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I might just do that.
What we got? So this was what is it by? I screenshotted it. At the bottom it says Piers Corbyn.
Okay.
Here's more good news. Boris Johnson has received a summons to appear in court, along with other politicians, over 650 of them, for treason, genocide, and fraud. They received their papers yesterday. Thanks to Jonathan Chapman and Michael Obernica. They will not get away with it. It's all about to hit the fan. And this leads on to my next point. The last line says maybe all under house arrest. So another post I saw, which was quite interesting, was this, boom, boom, boom. I definitely took this picture. I remember that. Boom, 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 boom. Did I not see it? So cool. So I saw this post. I was going to put it in a group, and it was random. I can't see what the source is, but just like with the Save the Children and Pizzagate, they use code names in it for the kids and that when they're buying them on market and all the rest of it. So this is another lot of codes that they've been saying, So it starts with soon you'll hear about certain high-profile people, celebrities, politicians, executives, elites, and billionaires having COVID. Here are some code words to look out for. So self-quarantine means they're under house arrest, either under federal agent guards or ankle bracelets.
Yeah.
Self-quarantine and COVID exposure means they've been detained and being questioned by authorities. Testing negative for COVID means that no confession, so they're going to go trial after worldwide mass arrest. If convicted, their reputation and legacy will be destroyed. And then tested positive for CV, they confessed and taken a deal. Their execution will be out of the public eye. Execution will be portrayed as a suicide or some sort of accidental death. Their reputation and legacy will be preserved. Remember, these people are being arrested for major crimes against humanity. No pity. Pay very, very close attention to the code words in the media. So that for me was pretty interesting. I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie, to be fair to me. But we all know that they do this with stuff. They put it in the movie, so it sounds like it is something out of a movie, which is kind of unreal to us.
Yeah.
Obviously, Boris Johnson right now is what, self-quarantined, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you looked at it from that side of the coin, Michael Berniker being put.
See that thing you just read out to me, yeah?
Yeah.
What, you can send that to me, innit?
Right now.
Send that to me, bro. So that's going to be a bit of a madness, if you ask me. You know what I mean? If that actually starts happening and we start seeing high-profile people like under these sort of code words, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, 2nd of December, they need to make a big movement at this point. Whether they're gonna do something like that, then get bare people to have coronavirus so that they can roll out the vaccine as soon as possible, so people get on the vaccine by January. But that's what looks like the timeline that they're trying to fit it into, man. Which is, it's so crazy, so quick. Why are they moving so quick, bruv? Give us a chance to catch up.
Here's the thing, it's like they move too slow, people moan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I understand if they're moving too quickly and people are moaning, yeah? But if you ask an average person on the roadside, would you rather want them to move quickly or slowly? They're going to tell you quickly.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Where they shouldn't be moving so quick. I would rather them move slow right now. You know what I mean? We know that as long as we do what we need to do, it ain't gonna catch us out. You know what I mean? So really and truly, like, we do what we need to do. You just do what you need to do. And when you've got something of relevance, then open your mouth and tell us, innit?
Yeah.
Until that time, shut your mouth and get on with your job.
Help yourselves, everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Press this button here right now. Jeez.
Yo, press this big red button.
Press this button. Here.
Yeah, right here. Button. Red one.